Hello everyone, welcome to this video. This is going to be a review. RoundTabler asked me to watch after one of his replay and explain why he lost, because you don't really know. I think this is a situation many people are in. They lose, but they can't exactly say why they lost. So I will try to address this, at least for him, in this video. So he's playing UEF on Twin Rivers against his friend, who is playing Seraphim, and both have pretty much the same color. Should try not to get confused by this. While they start, maybe I could say some things about the map in general. Like, the first thing is this middle reclaim. It's quite a lot. Not exactly sure how, but it can you a good advantage early game, and you should try to fight for this and be able to reclaim at least some of it. On the opposite, it means if you can deny your opponent the reclaiming of this, you can get advantage already at start. I have more things to say about the map, but let's say a few things, like this engineer making power far away. The SU is early walking. I think this is a quite ineffective build order. Like, first thing, the engineer is walking a very long way. If he started building power there, he wouldn't waste any time. Now he wasted time where he was basically doing nothing except walking. And with walking you don't win battles. So it's better to start stuff there. Then I don't think it's a good idea to walk so fast with the ACU. He's going for the middle mass, so that's good, but I don't think it's worth to use the ACU so early for it. Because the enemy can build in this time 2 factories and stuff. Like, you see his opponent is doing that, and he will have 2 factories, while RoundTabler only got 1, and RoundTabler won't even be able to really use the mass. He can fill his storage, but well, it will work out, but I think it's better to build 2 factories. This will give you a much slower start and fewer units at the start, and if you have fewer units, it's very easy to get overrun and never be able to come back. But at least he gets the mass, so it's not exactly terrible. So back to the things I wanted to say about the map. I think after the reclaim, the most important thing is this area, and to be able to secure it. You can secure it with point defense, or with making some wall here, or you can just secure it by having enough units in the area to be able to defend any raid. If you're not able to secure this area and he's able to raid it, it will not only lose you this mass, but opens another problem, because this pass is open and he can also raid the back. And well, this is 2/3 of your economy, and if you lose that, you can very likely lose the game. So it's important to defend this area. And on the other hand, it means, of course, if you are able to raid this area either early before he can establish, or overrun him after he established there. Let's say he built 2 point defenses, but you have a few artillery something, and you are able to kill them and push in this area, you are likely to win. So that's the second important part. I think the third important part are the islands, because it's quite easy to defend this area. You don't really often see what I said. Just people are usually not able to overrun this area, because it's well defended. So the map usually divides into spheres of influence across the middle, and all these max extractors are fairly safe. It's very hard to raid them. So usually boss players will have about the same economy, except these two middle mass extractors maybe, but they don't make a huge difference, only two. So what makes the difference will be the islands. If you are able to get both islands, you have 8 more mass extractors and more economy, and with more economy you can easily win the game. Let's take a short look what he's doing. He's establishing in this area, and so far everything is looking okay. He's upgrading mass extractor, probably use the middle mass for it. Reclaim 2000, but I think he wasn't able to use it all. Should have probably paid a bit more attention instead of talking about the map, but he reclaimed a lot more, but he has less mass income. I think that's a result from the build order at start to walk with your commander without building much. It also leads to a very slow expansion here. Not sure if that's directly the cause, but I think it is. Anyway, it should be better to get this area earlier. Probably he builds his factory before he claims this area, and it's pretty sure he did. This radar is nice, but the factory, I think it's better to first get all the mass extractors and then build the factory, not other way around. And now would be a good time to go for the island. One more thing I wanted to say about the map is that because raiding is so hard and it's easy to defend this area, a very good way to still raid are drops. If you don't have the islands, you can drop on the islands, that's very easy. But you can also drop across the river and drop in this area. If his defense is like here, and in this case it is good example, he make his defense in this area, so you can drop behind it and raid this. And you can also drop here and raid the back. A good defense by that is build a radar. I can actually ping. No, I can't, okay. A radar here and a radar here to see any approaching drops. I think these are pretty much the 4 key mechanics of this map that you will likely always see. So to the game, I think this is a good mix of units and economy. I'm reviewing RoundTabler, so I will go in his view, but looks like he stopped building energy after this cluster. And as long as you increase your mass income and you increase your production, you shouldn't stop building energy. Because when you increase the other things, your energy costs will increase as well, so you will need more energy. It's not too bad now, but it's not enough. Like, it's enough if he don't build anything, but once he started to build stuff, he will crash his energy. The radar coverage is nice. Like I said, I think a radar in this area and this is a very good idea, but let's not get too hard. So as well, nice reclaiming with engineers. I think he's far ahead. Let's take out the about 1500 mass, I think he got from the middle, so he would have 2500, while his friend got only 800, because you don't reclaim the map. So that's very strong. And I think this is also the reason why he leads in mass income. At least he did before I said this. Okay. I think it's a mistake to ignore the islands. Would have been possible to go for the islands. And another, I think, rather big mistake is to build no air factory. Like, you don't really have to build much air, but you should at least have one to be able to scout. The same goes for him, but I'm concentrating on this guy. So he made Tech 2 power, that's very good. But as you can see, he needs probably another one. He's, I don't know, doing something. He's upgrading like 4 mass extractors at once. That's not a good idea. That totally crashed his economy. With minus 200 mass, that's very bad. It will slow down the finishing of all 4 mass extractors. It would be better to do one each time, so you can already get the extra mass from this mass extractor while you upgrade this one, and while you upgrade this one you have the extra mass from both of them already. Now he don't get any extra mass until all 4 of them are finished, and it will take even longer. He realizes that. Okay, that's good. I was going to say he draws away the engineer but don't pause them. But he did pause, that's the correct solution to this problem. Still a huge mistake to not start with one at a time, but it's good that he saw it and solved it. So some raid incoming here, he should saw that earlier and moved some units in the way. So right now making some point defense. That's rather cost inefficient. Make 2 point defense against 4 tanks. Like, he got all the units he needed to stop this. He just didn't use them. And these point defenses will slow the finishing of this mass extractor even longer. So, but we got a big battle going on. I would say about even numbers. But I wouldn't do this battle because it's risky. You don't really know what's going on. You don't have the scouting to see if you can push after this battle. And I would say this battle was really close. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do any battle if you are not sure you can win, or if you think you need to take the risk in order to win. Like that, let's say if you think if you don't win this battle you would lose, then you have to do it, of course. But if it's an even situation, that's a big risk, because you could lose. And now Tech 2 bots are incoming and you are losing this battle, and that's a very big thing, because there's so much reclaim for him now, and if he's able to secure him, this will give him a huge lead. Especially no one is still going for the islands. He is never, but at least he did build air. RoundTabler still didn't build any air, and so he got no scouting. He don't know what he's up to. He don't know if his enemy is only ecoing. So he would now, like, let's say he scouts, he sees his enemies only ecoing, then he would knew he is able to push, because he got no enemy got no units. But if you have no scouting, you don't know if you can attack or not. But if the enemy is ecoing and he don't attack with his units, these units are just wasted mass. But according to the huge amount of enemy units, this is not the case, and the enemy is going quite aggressive after this fight. He got a little bit worse economy, but he invested this mass more in units. So after this fight, the light gray guy got quite a big unit advantage. And he's also going for the islands. That's now very important to protect this area, and I think he should fight with his SEU, because if he loses this fight, he won't be able to protect this area at all. So he really needs to win this, and for that he needs to use his SEU. And it's also not very good unit movement. It's not good to just move into the enemy. It's better to stay with your units together. And let him move into you. So more of your units will be in range than him. So now he has to fight with his SU anyway, but all his units are dead already. So he allowed his enemy to fight first his unit and then his SU instead of both together. So right now he got better economy, but he got a really big disadvantage. This is also no good use of Mongoose. If you build Mongoose, then you really need to use him well and stay at range. And this is really hard, and this would be one reason why I recommend to not build Mongoose. And instead just build Pillar. Pillar are really good and you can't screw up with them. Well, that's a crazy wall. However, looks like he was able to kind of defensive push. He needs to chase these units to clean them up, but he now got a very huge wreck field and he needs to send engineers. I mean, it's easy to say because there's a bit to do for him in his base, but he needs to reclaim this as soon as possible and take advantage of it. But of course there are more important things to do, like defend his base. This is quite late. Should have been done earlier, and he needs to send his SEO. He's doing that. But well, the more important than the things he does now is the reason why the enemy was able to build so many more units. And because we got a few more factories, I think, but not so much more. Let's see. So 10 tech 1 and 1 tech... no way. Okay, 10 tech 1 and 4 tech 2 factories. As it's actually quite a lot more. Why he had 4 tech 1 and 5 tech 2. So, really big difference. But in combination with the ACU and point defense, it should be enough. The problem was that he upgraded all his factories at once on Tech 2. So while they upgraded, they produced no units. And the enemy attacked exactly when they were done. So there weren't many units on the field. It was all invested in factory and also economy. And this push is not a good idea. He really needs to clean up the back first. It's not like these units are going to disappear. He really needs to clean that up to be able to re-establish and regain the mass. Also, this push is without any vision. He has no idea there could be like an experimental waiting in the fog. He don't know. And you shouldn't attack areas without knowing if you are able to win. So the scouting would be very important. And also he still got enough mass, and with this wreck field he will got more than enough mass. Important is now that he builds more factories to get back with unit production. But yes, I think the biggest mistake was like taking this fight, the first fight. If he didn't take this fight, he would have still have all those units, the enemy too, but it's easier to defend with the units because you can use them in combination with ACU and use them, retreat them to point defenses, and it's easier to defend. Okay, and the second big mistake, like actually one real big mistake was ignoring the islands and just giving enemy extra mass for free. That's not something you want to do. Free mass? You should be the only one who gets free mass. So yeah, the next big mistake was not enough factories and too many factories upgrading at once, leaving to not enough units. And this is in combination with upgrading a lot economy. So maybe one of these things, upgrading many factories at once, or making economy is okay, but both at once did lead to almost no units. Some drop here of his opponent. Would see it if he wouldn't have energy crashed. Like, I think this power get DML'd. So Mars, you should always build TMD, but it's most important at Tech 2 power, because if your Tech 2 power dies, you're pretty much dead. Because opposing to Mars, like when Mars dies, you can reclaim stuff, you can do much other things, and usually you have a long Mars extractor, so if one dies, it's not such a big problem. But if your power dies, then you don't have any other power. You only have, if you take one power, that's like 10% of your power income. So if your Tech 2 power die, then you have nothing left pretty much. With Mars it's different, but it still hurts to lose Mars structures to TML, so always build TMD, but even more important, at Tech 2 power. And I think before he lost the Tech 2 power, it was looking really bad, but it was not completely over. If he did some good fights and capitalize from reclaim, would have been able to do a comeback, but without power there's no way to do a comeback. Also these units he decided not to kill are still alive and are still raiding and killing stuff. I think it's pretty much over. Also this counter attacks without vision, actually having no vision in the first place whole game. Like he did not only not scout the whole game, he didn't even build an air factory. So that's definitely something that's able to improve. So I think this is pretty much over. It doesn't matter if he does any mistakes anymore or not. Even if he plays perfectly, there's pretty much nowhere to come back. And here's that. So I hope that helped a bit. If you have any feedback, what you would like to hear more, and what other things of the game I didn't address. Like, it's hard for me to see what you need to hear to improve your gameplay. I can point out many mistakes, but it's pretty much impossible for a new player to just solve any mistakes. So maybe I overlooked the more important things that would help more. If that's the case, just tell me, and I will try to improve that. Alright, anyway, I hope it still helped. Or maybe it was really good, I don't know.